In this beginning sax question and answers video, I'd like to answer some questions I've had about subtone. Now, if you're not familiar with subtone is the breathy, airy quality of sound that you just heard me perform with, again. That differs from the hard or full tone of the saxophone. And allows you to apply a different, softer texture to the tone quality. Some players that you're familiar with that you may have heard use subtone include Paul Desmond on alto saxophone. You'll hear him play almost constantly with subtone. You often hear Stan Getz use subtone, and even Ben Webster. If you listen to Ben Webster, you hear a lot of subtone in Ben's playing. So the question now becomes, how do you create the subtone? The subtone is generated by using and controlling the airstream, the pressure of the airstream, the resistance of the airstream in the mouthpiece through the pressure inside the oral cavity. If you place your finger against your lips and blow, allow the air to escape on either side of your finger, you'll feel the pressure and the resistance of the airstream build up back into the throat, and even if you allow it to, into the corners of the cheek. Watch and you'll see the corners of my cheek expand as I blow. You can see my cheeks puff out. Now, when you play, and we're going to do the subtone in a minute, I'll show you how to work on it, but when you play, you want to allow the cheeks to puff out up in the upper corners rather than in the lower corners. If you allow them to puff out down here and the lower lip to drop too much, you'll go flat. So you want to play in tune with your subtone by letting the resistance build up in the upper corners of the mouth. Watch as I play. And you can see the airstream build up in there. You can also watch my throat expand. So I've got so much resistance and pressure building up that both my cheeks are expanding and my throat is expanding as I perform with the subtone. Now, there's one other trick that you'll use in generating the subtone, and that's to allow the lower lip to rest on the cut of the reed, not so deeply down on the reed, not so much mouthpiece in your mouth, and actually the top teeth stay where you would normally place them, but let your lower lip rest on the cut of the reed. So there I've got resistance here, and my lower lip is on the cut of the reed. It's important when you're working on subtone, or when you're using subtone, that you use good breath support. So if you have questions about your breath support, you can check out my beginning sax question and answers video on breathing. I also have a YouTube video on overtones, which will help you work with the resistance and the shape of your oral cavity, which all in all really helps you control the tone, whether it's subtone or full tone that you're working with. Now, to practice the subtone, let's start with a tone like G. And you can do this on alto or tenor. I've got my tenor today, but play the G. You don't feel quite as much resistance or pressure build up inside your oral cavity on a G as you'll do on the lower tones, but still with the resistance that you do have, and with your lip placed in the right position, teeth down, jaw back, you can get the subtone on the G. You might even try blowing a little softer, that helps. Then we're going to go to F. You'll feel a little greater pressure with the F, followed by E flat. And we're just going down a C minor scale, so as we go down, the pressure increases. D. And then low C. So as you work with those tones, you can start to generate the subtone. A tune that I like to have my students work on with subtone is Body and Soul. So if you have a real book available or just a lead sheet, I'm sure you can find it on the internet, for Body and Soul, that would be a great tune to work on subtone with. So as always, if you have any questions, I'd love to hear from you. Just shoot me an email, and remember, check out all my online lessons. I've got the beginning sax lessons, and I've also got the jazz improv lessons. And if you're interested in other inflection techniques in my jazz improv lesson series, you might try the sax tips lessons. Okay, take care for now.